Temperatures drop down into the 70s. Let's go to Ginger Chan, see what's happening in traffic on this Monday morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Mark. We do have a situation along the 101. We understand that this is a police pursuit. Our team in Sky 5 HD first on the scene on this, and Mark, it looks like it's the 101 East. He just passed Las Virgenes. Is that right?
That is correct, Ginger. Coming out of Calabasas and in towards Woodland Hills, the CHP in pursuit of this white SUV wanted apparently for drunk driving and then a failure to yield. Okay, gotcha. And then a failure to yield. So this started somewhere in the Ventura County area. Hills passing Calabasas, and we are going to be entering the West Valley here shortly. This has been ongoing for at least the past 15 to 20 minutes here. They actually had cleared traffic ahead of this guy, and so for a time the 101 freeway eastbound was completely open. Now, looking ahead, I can tell you that conditions are going to worsen for him over the course of the next 3 to 4 miles as he enters Woodland Hills because of traffic that is coming through, say, the Woodland Hills area, Tarzan, and in towards the 405 freeway. But right now, at least, he is able to travel as fast as he needs to, as fast as he wants to at any rate. But again, a drunk driver, a CHP pursuit of a drunk driver, again, ongoing for the past 15 to 20 minutes. I can tell you that there are several units of the CHP who are following this person here. Unknown if it's a male or a female at this point. We will try and ascertain that for you, or whether or not there are any additional passengers in the vehicle for that matter. So we will try and get that information for you. He is now coming up on an area where there is a little bit more traffic coming through, and so he is going to be encountering some of that traffic eastbound coming in towards the 405 freeway. So here we go, the CHP in pursuit of this guy, at least 6, maybe half a dozen units of the CHP who are behind him. There is a long flow of traffic, a long steady line of traffic coming through behind this guy as well. So he seems to be slowing down. We're talking about speeds of something near 40 to 50 miles an hour here. So hopefully that is a sign that he may, or she may, if for that matter, be willing or be, preparing at least to slow down and maybe stop. So we will see as this pursuit kind of heads east along the 101 freeway. Ginger?
All right, Mark, and I am looking at the maps. Interestingly enough, when Mark and his photographer Eliana came on scene, Mark noticed that the entire freeway, there were no cars at all, and that's because of this pursuit that you're seeing here. I was just looking at the maps right about Tampa Avenue is where everything starts to slow down, and then it's solid red lights once he gets closer to the 405 freeway, and then once you he heads onto the 101, of course, solid lights there as well as the 405, but then it gets a little bit better, points a little bit farther to the east, so it just really depends on where he ends up going. Do you guys want me to send it back to Mark? We'll continue with some traffic here as well. Talk about the 10 freeway. All right, we'll go ahead and talk about. All right, let's go ahead and send it back to you, Mark.
Hi, Ginger. Yeah, we continue to follow this guy. He seems to be traveling at a fairly slow rate of speed at this point. We understood coming through the Ventura County line, he was accelerating at a pretty fast rate of speed here. But now we're talking about speeds again. We just mentioned at 40 to 50 miles an hour here, eastbound side of the 101 freeway, just passing Fallbrook Avenue. And so passing Fallbrook, he'll be coming up on, well, say Topanga Canyon, those areas here. So we are just kind of moving slowly. It seems like this person does, just kind of slowing down in the number 2 lane there, so hopefully that's a sign that he or she is willing to give up at some point here. Certainly the slower speeds is kind of a good sign, making it safer for folks, commuters on the road here. But looking ahead in front of this guy, it's a wide open scene here, no traffic to speak of at this point because he is traveling at a fairly slow rate of speed. We're going to be crossing over Ventura Boulevard here momentarily, but again, just a slow speed pursuit here. The CHP, at least half a dozen units behind him, and he's in the number 2 lane, so coming up on the middle lane of traffic, just crossing over Ventura Boulevard right there as we make our way in towards the West Valley. Now, of course, Topanga Canyon is going to be coming up here, and DeSoto is going to be coming up, so we will kind of watch and see what this guy does. Very light traffic over the course of the next couple of miles, and partly because of the fact that he's traveling so slow, the cars that were in front of him are just kind of accelerating away. But as we approach the Tarzana area, traffic does start to thicken up as he makes his way over to the 405 freeway here. But this causing a real jam behind him, in fact, because we have the CHP units directly behind him, and behind the CHP units a long line of traffic who is, you know, they're basically at the mercy of this guy's speed and at this, you know, for whatever he's doing here. So a couple of cars getting on the freeway, but again, a slow speed pursuit here moving into the number 3 lane. So hopefully this guy chooses to give up at some point here, this white SUV. We don't know where it started, but a failure to yield. Apparently officers were trying to pull this guy over, a suspected drunk driver, refusing to do so at this point, and so a failure to yield resulting in this CHP pursuit. We believe it began on the freeway, but unsure at this point. The CHP did pick this up, and so now the CHP is in pursuit as we move slowly eastbound along the 101 freeway.
And if you're just joining us, you're looking at what Mark is describing as an alleged drunk driver, also being sought for failure to yield, meaning he didn't want to pull over, or he or she didn't want to pull over.
Coming up on DeSoto,
you can see the car is going very slowly on the 101 toward DeSoto in the Woodland Hills area. Mark suggesting that there isn't a lot of traffic in this area, but I can guarantee you that as you approach the 405, which is just a few miles down the 101, it will be jammed up. At this time of the day, it's the most busy freeway interchange in the nation.
Yeah, it is bizarre to see at 7:17 in the morning this car just going along its way on the 101 and not encountering any other vehicles, Mark.
Yeah, not encountering any other vehicles here ahead of this guy. It's just the folks who have been getting on the freeway here. But I can tell you, there are a couple of CHP units staged about a quarter to a half mile ahead. It looks like they are going to be stopping traffic from entering the eastbound side of the 101 at DeSoto. We will see as we approach it, but at least 3 to 4 units of the CHP staged on the DeSoto on-ramp to the eastbound side of the 101. Perhaps, well, perhaps they might be setting up for a spike strip or something like that. We've not got any confirmation of that. That's just speculation at this point, but this guy is traveling at a slow enough rate of speed that they might be able to deploy a spike strip. But again, just coming up on DeSoto here, crossing over DeSoto, in fact, traveling very slowly, 30 miles an hour, kind of weaving in and out of all lanes of traffic at this point. He started off in the fast lane, moved all the way to the number 3 and number 4 lane, but we're just coming up to the top of the on-ramp to the eastbound 101, and if we widen out the shot there, we have some CHP officers. I do, thank you. Just passing some CHP officers there, and they are going to be joining in the pursuit. You know, we're speculating that perhaps they might be able to deploy a spike strip. That does not seem to be the case at this point, but it looks like a few additional units are going to be joining in this pursuit, traveling at a very, very slow rate of speed. We're talking about 20 to 30 miles an hour at this point. When we picked this up just a few minutes ago, it was 40 to 50, but he is just kind of moving slowly and just weaving in and out. Number 2 lane right now, and we saw him moving in up into the slow lane. They might try and pit this guy, so let's have a look here. We have a unit moving up, and it looks like they're going to try and pit this guy. There he goes. There he goes. So the 1 CHP unit officer coming up, pitting him. He's spun around. He's facing the wrong way at this point, and now officers are basically facing him. If we, there you go, widen out the shot just a little bit there. You can see what they're doing here. All lanes of the eastbound 101 are stopped at this point. Guns drawn, at least 5 units, 6, 7 units of the CHP. Now people, officers are out of their car, and they will be ordering this guy to come out of his car here. Now we don't know how many people were in this vehicle, or if, you know, for that matter, if it was a male or female, but hopefully this guy or girl, you know, chooses to give up peacefully here. But that is something that we will know over the course of the next couple of minutes here. We certainly hope so, at least. We don't want this to turn into a standoff, at least not on the freeway, but we will kind of see how this ends. So far, no doors open, nothing like that, no movement that we can detect from inside this SUV, but certainly that was a courageous move by that 1 CHP officer as he moved up to the back right bumper and spun this guy around. He is now out of the picture, and now the other units of the CHP are facing this guy, and hopefully they will be able to get this guy, coax this guy to come out of the SUV.
You know, I feel, Mark, like we've become such experts on these pursuits that,
sadly.
Yeah, sadly, that pit maneuver seemed to be executed perfectly.
Yeah, it was done very smoothly, and you know, we're talking about pit maneuvers that are done somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30 to 35 miles an hour. So for that being, well, that being the case, officers certainly thought it was appropriate and safe for them to attempt that, and so that is certainly what they did. There's the Winnetka Avenue off-ramp, the sign for it, so that kind of gives us an indication of where this thing is at here, the eastbound side of the 101 just before Winnetka Avenue. Units of the CHP, there they are. They're looking at this guy, and hopefully they will be able to get this guy out of this vehicle here shortly.
And as Frank was saying, usually we tend to see the same thing sort of happen where they ask the person inside to get out with their hands up, turn around, get on the ground, you know, on the freeway there, and then they proceed. But again, you know, you don't know if this guy has a weapon or what sort of thing, if there's anybody else inside, so that's, I'm sure, what authorities are dealing with and what's going through their mind at this moment.
And you also don't know if this is one of those cases of what's called suicide by cop, where you have someone who wants the officers to open up on them, and which is terrible as that may sound. There are people who are seeking that, and so we, of course, are hoping that's not the case here, and hoping that this is, in fact, just someone who was an alleged drunk driver, or maybe wasn't even aware of what was going on. But hopefully at this point, yeah, and it looks like the door is opening. They are aware.
Door's opening.
And hopefully we will see that person comply with the orders and be taken into custody. Mark, we'll let you describe what you're seeing.
Okay, Five's got you there. Yeah, it looks like the driver door is opening, and so it looks like the person, in this case, it looks like a male is coming out of the vehicle here on his knees, hands out. He's going to be proned out on the ground here, and that will enable the officers to hopefully, you know, make an approach and get this guy into custody here. This guy, you know, based on some information that we just got here, it looks like this guy started out in somewhere in the Camarillo area of Ventura County Sheriff's Department, noticing this guy was kind of weaving in and out. He was on the freeway. The CHP was requested to take over this, and so they have brought this all the way down in towards the Woodland Hills area. We have a couple of officers of the CHP and an additional couple of officers there who are going to be taking this guy into custody. They are basically looking at his SUV as well, clearing the vehicle, making sure there's no one else in there, no contraband, no nothing like that. And they'll also pop the back hatch just to make sure there's no one in there. But it looks like, that being the case, it only looks like one person, a male driver here, wanted for failure to yield based on suspicions of drunk driving. And so it looks like they're going to be able to take this guy into custody. It only took, well, it took him about maybe, what, 3-4 minutes for him to come out of that vehicle here and give up. And so finally he has done so, and they are now taking this guy into custody. Hopefully they will be able to reopen lanes of the freeway at this point. We're talking about a full eastbound closure on the 101 freeway just before Winnetka. I can look at the backup. I can tell you the backup starts, well, somewhere around the Hidden Hills area here, so there's a lot of backup on this eastbound 101. But there he is. He is going to be taken into custody in the hand of those two guys, and they're going to take him into custody, and hopefully they will be able to reopen lanes of the freeway here shortly.
All right, Mark, we appreciate you bringing us this, and we're glad to hear that it ended safely, that no one was hurt in all of that. It's
going to put a lot of pressure on the 101, Ginger Chan. It's going to be a rough morning out there in the valley.
Sky 5 traffic
update. But the good news is there was no major crash, no injuries. So what the CHP will do is they'll probably drive that car over to the side once they complete their investigation, get off the freeway, and then reopen up those lanes very, very soon because they want to help with the flow of traffic. Let's take it to